Hello everyone, a very good evening to all. Welcome you all in this session. Kindly give me the confirmation everything is okay. Shall I start session on the YouTube as well? Yes, I hope everything is okay. All right, so yesterday we completed till here all the modern and traditional methods of performance appraisal. Now we have to start with competence versus competency. All right, so what is the competence and what is competency? Competence is what you do and competency is how well you do. Okay, suppose okay, you are a banker. That is a competence means you can do the banking work. All right. How well you are doing the banking work? What are the skills? Okay, you have in order to do any kind of task related to the bank. That is what the competency is. So competence, it focus on the result and outcome. It is what competence is all about related to your work, related to your task. And okay, this competence. And competency is what it is related to you, means the individual skills, the technical skills, the communication skills, the verbal skills, the written skills. These are what related to a people. So it describes the features of work, task. Competence, it includes the knowledge and attitude that are required to do a particular job. It is not transferable. Can you transfer your job to someone else? No, you cannot transfer your post, your role to someone else. But you can transfer your communication skills. Okay, you can also teach the other people how to communicate with. That is what you can transfer, but you cannot transfer your work. So it is non-transferable. Competence, it is not transferable. It is possessed by a performance and it is related to task oriented. Whereas competency is what it is related to the individual's characteristics, their attitude, their attributes and behavior. So it includes the attributes, the characteristics of a people. So it is easily transferable from one person to another. You can transfer your skills, you can transfer, you can help the person to learn new skills, to learn new ways. But you cannot transfer your post, your job to other people. It is related to people oriented. All right, so competence is what? That is the ability of a person to do a job successful. It is the task oriented. Like a nurse has competence if she can take care of patient, give injections and handle emergencies. But competency is what? Competency is if you are having a medical knowledge, if you are having the communication skills, if you are very empathetic, if you are very, you can say sympathetic. So that is what? That is the competency. So specific skills, knowledge, behavior, attitudes are competence. Like a nurse competencies include medical knowledge, empathy, communication skills, and quick decision making. So different types of competencies are there. So technical competency are there and behavioral competencies are there. Now, some are referred as hard and soft skills. So what are referred as hard? The technical competency are referred as hard skills, whereas behavioral competencies are referred as soft skills. Okay, so both these competencies, these are important for drawing any kind of conclusion. Technical and behavioral skills are what? See, related to hard skills. Suppose, okay, you are doing the job of software, you are a software engineer. Now, what should be the technical competencies? You should have that. You should know the very well of technology, okay, and you can handle all the like data, the software, the websites. You should know how to develop a website. That is what the work of the software engineer. Now, suppose you are a teacher. For teacher, what are the behavioral competencies you should have? You should have communication skills. You should have teaching skills. You should have uh, the persuasion skills. So these are what? These are some soft skills. These are known as the soft skills, which you can say it signifies your way of talking, your way of doing things in the company, in the institute, or in any school. That is what the behavioral competency. So these are soft skills, like how you are communicating with the other people, how you are taking initiative, how you are having a good listening skills, and a leadership quality as well. So listening skills is more important as compared to the speaking skills. So these are the different competencies that one should have. Now competency levels. So if I talk about the levels of competency, so three types of competency levels are there, and different type of job they need different types of competency level. So like entry level is what? Entry level means the beginning of the any level. All right. So when you have joined as an accountant in the company, so the company has seen you, they want, okay, 2+ years of experience in time. So you have 3 years of experience. So this is the NP level. So it is the standard expected of employees means the minimum criteria that should fit in order to do that particular job on an entry into a role. And this is used for the new entrant means this is for a fresher. Now, fully effective means when you have gained a level of experience. Okay, you have worked in the company as an accountant, you have 5 years of experience, 7 years of experience, so that is fully effective. Now you have done the standardized in your role. All right. And stretch and mastery level is what when you become pro in your field. Okay, you are the accountant and you have the experience of 25+ years. So that is what you have done the mastery in your level. You have more stretched that particular level. So the employees they are often sought out by other employees to give advices or assistance to other people as well. All right. Next, two more topics are there related to competency, that is description and competency mapping. So description again, in description like job description, what we do, we describe everything related to job. So in competency description is what here also we are describing. We are describing we are describing the behavior, the skills, the knowledge of a person. So it includes the like competency, customer service orientation, so ability to understand the customer needs, solve queries effectively, and maintain long-term trust. So how well competency you have, description means how well you describe everything related to the other people. So do you have that level of skill? Do you have that level of behavior? Do you have that level of knowledge that you can help other people? You can describe your work. And mapping is what mapping means that the things that are required in doing that work. Okay, you are a teacher. So what are the things that are required in that work? The skills are required in that work. So the process of identifying which competencies are required for that specific kind of job. So it is like making a map that links job with the needed skill, like the role of loan officer. So you should know how to manage risk properly. You should be an analytical thinker. The regulatory knowledge should be must, and how to deal with the customers. That is what these are required for becoming the loan officer. That is the competency mapping. What are the things that are required for this particular kind of job? So competencies, it is on the different layers also, like organizational level competencies. Organizational means in the internal system. So competencies that is required by everyone, no matter what job they are performing, no matter in which department they are. These type of organizational level competencies that are required everywhere, like the honesty, the teamwork, the collaboration, the coordination, the cooperation. So that is what that is required everywhere in all the levels of management to support vision, mission, values like integrity, customer focus, teamwork. Now, functional and departmental competencies, these are required at their specific department. Like in marketing department, you must know the everything related to market. So what is the market going on right now? How much demand is there? How much supply is there? Okay, who are your competitors? So that knowledge you must have if you are working in marketing department. So to meet the departmental goals, like finance department, the financial skills are included. HR department, the talent management skills are needed for that. And next is the role-based job specific competencies. Role-based means what type of role you are performing. Like if you are the sales executive, so you must know how to negotiate, how to do the negotiation, how to you can say how to retain your customers. So that is what the job of sales executive. Now the job of software developer, they should know how to do the coding well. So these are related to any particular role. This is related to the department, and this it is present everywhere. So we can say it is what it is pervasive. Now leadership and managerial competencies are what these are the competencies that are required uh, for making the future leaders. Like how good leader you are. Are you a autocratic leader? Are you a democratic leader? So what type of leadership you have? How you are guiding the team. So competencies that are required by the leaders and managers of the company. Like strategic thinking should be there. You should make good plans for your company. Your objectives should be clearly defined. You should know what is the vision and mission of your company. These are all the Competencies that the top managers require. All right. Okay. Now, next is what that is behavioral event interview. This is very, very important. And uh, I guess two times the questions it came in the exam from this topic. Behavioral event interview. Now, what is this? See, break all the words. Interview means two persons are there, interaction is there. Event means any scenario. And behavioral means they want to know your attitude, your behavior. So what is this behavioral event interview? See, this is again one of the structured way. Structured means a systematic way to understand how someone has behaved in the past. Now, when you are going for the interview, so the interviewer will not going to ask you the general questions that what are your academics, okay, how much marks you have scored. So they will not going to ask you the general question. They will ask you, have you faced any kind of bad circumstances in your previous company? If your answer would be yes, then they will ask you next question that tell me what was those circumstances, how you concluded that, okay, how you find the best suitable methods for that. So these are the questions that will be asked by the interviewer, and they follows what the star method. So instead of asking the general questions, it focuses on the real life experience. So have you faced any kind of scenario in past so that the interviewer may know that if such kind of situation will going to arise in future, so what your actions would be. Okay, how what you will going to recommend for that. So where the person demonstrated skills needed for the job, and it follows what star method. So STAR is the situation, task, action, and a result. Like it helps you to answer questions by telling your story. So situation means what was the situation in the past, how you were in that particular situation. That is. Next is what were your action, how you took the responsibility for that, what are the things that are needed to be overcome with that situation. Third is the action, what steps you take to solve that particular situation, that bad scenario, and what is the result. Did that particular thing solved or not? So what happened in the end? So these are the questions that are asked. So to know your analytical skills, and to also know that you what whether you have taken the correct action, you have taken the correct steps in order to solve that situation or not. That is why it is such behavioral event interview. Like situation is example is, all right, a customer was upset for what about a delayed order. The order was delayed and that is why the customer was upset. This was the scenario. All right, now what task you have done? So you have solved the issue. You have kept the customer more satisfied. Okay, so how you have done this? What action you have done? You have apologized with the customer, you have checked the order status, and you have arranged a faster delivery. You saw that the mistake was from your end, then you arranged a faster delivery. And what was the result? The result was that the customer became happy and the customer gave the positive feedback. So this is what this is apart from the general questions, the questions are asked. For what? So that the past behavior, with the help of past behavior, one can analyze the future behavior. It helps in assessing the real skills. Do you have that quality that you can solve any kind of problem if such type of similar situation arises in the future? It reveals how a person actually handled the situation, and it also helps to analyze your competency level. All right, so that is behavioral event interview, and the STAR full form is very important: situation, task, action, and result. Now, next, second last chapter of module B, conflict. So, what is conflict? See, when people are in large number, okay, they are working in the company in the same situation, in the same circumstances, then definitely there a situation will come when their opinions are not matching, when their thought process are not matching, when their perception is not matching, and they are unable to find a midway solution. Then what happens? So, a small fight it will lead to a conflict. So conflict arises when there is clashes in the opinions, interests, and they are unable to find a midway solution. So according to the Oxford Dictionary, so conflict is what? It is a situation where either people, it would be people, it can be group, it can be two countries also, they disagree strongly. And if they see disagreements will not lead to the conflict, but a strong disagreements will lead to a conflict. All right, and McLean has also defined the conflict as the physical and psychological struggle associated with the perception of the people. Like you have different perceptions. Suppose All right. Suppose this is the, okay, some will say that this is half filled glass of water. Some will say that this is half empty glass of water, half filled and half empty. None of you are wrong in your own way. Okay, if both of you are correct. Okay, the one is saying that it is half empty. Yes, they are also correct. And the one is saying that it is half filled. He or she is also correct. So it is just what is the difference in this? The difference is all about the perception. Okay, I have some different perception related to things. You have some different perception. So when the perception is not matching, then also it will lead to the conflict. So conflict is what? It is a clash between the individuals in their thought process, in their attitude, understanding, interest, and requirements. So different types of conflict are there. One is what? A task conflict. Task conflict means this conflict arises from the work. Like suppose in the company, people are working. Okay, groups are working. Now one group is given all the resources and another group is not given sufficient resources, then definitely there will be conflict between these two groups, that one will say that I have got more resources to do the same work and the other one will say that I have got less resources. So task conflict involves, it is based on work details and goals. It also includes like for assignments given to employees and disputes about sharing of resources, differences of opinion and methods, choosing methods to do that particular task. So that is what the task conflict. See, task conflict is a conflict when that task is over, the conflict is over. All right. So it will not going to stretch a lot. But relationship conflict is a conflict that will never going to end. When this conflict arises, so it becomes what? A personal issue. So relationship conflict is a for personal conflict that develops over disagreements and differences between individuals. So even if the work is completed, even if the task is done, still the relationship conflict will never going to end. It will continue till a longer period of time. So this is not related to work. This is related to personal issues. Now value conflict is what? Value is when people are having different values. Okay, like I'm from different family background, you are from different family background, so your culture, your experiences, your identities, your values would be different. Okay, my values would be different, so the value conflict arises. Intra individual and intrapersonal conflict. Intra means what? There are two words, one is inter, one is intra. Intra, remember e is there, so learn this as between. Intra is what? Within. Okay, when two or more people are communicating or they are having conflict, that is known as inter. Means between two or more people, that is inter. Intra means when like intra communication, when you are communicating with yourself. Intra individual, when you are having conflict with yourself only, that is intrapersonal conflict. So intrapersonal conflict is what? That is you have decided something else with your job. Okay, like when you joined a new job, you were expecting something different. And when you went for the job, the first day you have seen that the people, they are not talking to each other. Okay, they are busy in their own work. They are not making any groups. And you are such sort of person that you are a mix-up person. You always make friends very soon. So that is what you have expected, something different from the job, and the job is giving you something different. So that is intra-individual conflict. So conflict can also arise intrapersonal, where individual's objective, their vision differs from his or her company's overall vision. So company's vision is different and your vision is completely different. Conflict can also arise as intra-individual conflict. It can arise from frustration. Okay, when you are not happy, when you are not good, then from frustration it can arise. Numerous roles that demand equal attention. Like, okay, suppose something went wrong in your house. Okay, you have a fight with your people, and when you went to the bank, when you went to the office, okay, you were having the frustration, and you because of that frustration, you are not talking with other people, and they are asking you, they are asking you what happened. So suddenly you have burst over that person. So that is what the frustration is. So it arises from the in-house also and from the office as well. So that is intra-individual. Now, in intra-individual, one is the conflict from frustration. The second is the goal conflict. So, goal conflict, three different types of conflict are there. What is approach? Approach conflict, approach avoidance, and avoidance avoidance. Approach means positive positive. When you got two positive things, all right, and you have to, okay, when you have got two mutual benefits are there, and you have to choose one out of the two. You cannot go for both of the one. You only have to choose one thing. So where the individual is motivated to approach two or more positive but mutually exclusive goals. Both are positive for you, but you cannot go with both of them. You have to choose one of them. Like for example, okay, you have got a job. One job is that is nearby to your house. Second is nearby to your house, and second job is that is far away from your house, very distance. Okay, but that job is giving you handsome salary. So both are good for you. One job is nearby to your house, only 10-minute distance is there. Another is like 1 hour, 2 hour distance is there. So both are good opportunity for you. In both the things, positive features are added, but you are only allowed to choose one. You cannot go with both of them. So that is what will you choose? That is the approach conflict. The mutually exclusive goals are there. Now approach avoidance conflict means one is positive and one is negative. So where the individual is motivated to approach a goal and at the same time he or she is motivated to avoid it. So in this what you have got, one is the positive and one is negative. And in both of the cases you have to choose one. You cannot go for the both of them. Okay, either you have to go with the positive or you have to go with the negative. But that negative is also giving you the positive features. Like this is what when you feel that both are attracted to and pushed away by the same goal, means has both positive features also and negative features also. Like for example, you want to buy a car. Okay, buying a car, that is a positive for you. But if you're buying the car, you have to do a lot of expenses. Yes, it means you have to take the loan. Okay, you have to maintain the car. Okay, the driver cost, everything will be there. So one thing is that you have got the car, and second is that you have to pay a lot of you have to expend a lot of amount for buying this car. So it means the positive features is also there and the negative is also attached to it. So that is approach avoidance conflict. And avoidance conflict is what this occurs when individual is faced with two or more undesirable goals, that is negative, and you have to choose one between them. Like for example, suppose for CAIIB exam, what is the negative thing that you have to study a lot? Yes, you have to give 4 or 5 hours daily. And second, more negative, if you will not qualify this exam, if you will not go for this exam, then there will be no increment. So you have to go with both that. You have to choose one thing between two. Either you can go for the CIB exam, or if you will leave it, then there will be no increment. So it is what it is faced with two or more positive undesirable goals. That is what the approach avoidance and avoidance conflict. Clear? Now next, role conflict in organization. So there will be the conflict, role conflict will be there in the organization. The conflict arises with different roles. So role conflict happens when an employee faces conflicting demands or their expectations are not matching with the workplace or the situations in the workplace. Like it creates confusion, stress, and lowers the performance. So three types of role conflict are intra-role conflict, when you are having conflict within your role only, when you are having conflict between two roles, and person conflict when you are having conflict with the values and the job role. So intra-role means conflict within the same role. Like the manager is asking you to maintain the speed versus quality. Means the manager is saying you that you have to complete the work before time, and that too you have to maintain quality. So you only tell if you are maintaining quality in any of the things, then it will take time to maintain the quality. You cannot expect both the things at the same time. So your manager tells you to finish a task quickly, but at the same time it should be perfectly done. So that is intra role. Means in one role you have to perform two things. Inter-role conflict means conflict between two different roles. Like in house, you are playing the role of father. Okay, in bank, you are playing the role of manager, or in office, you are playing the role of manager. So it means two different roles you have to play. That is inter-role conflict. So person is both a team leader and a parent. And person role conflict is what? Conflicting between the personal values and job roles. When your job role is not matching with your personal values, like the company is asking you to do greenwashing. You don't believe in this, but the company is asking you to do it. So you have to do it. Why? Because you are a employee of that company. So you have to accept this thing. So that is what you may be asked to sell a product you don't believe in. That is job task versus personal. Now next, Thomas Kilmann model. Say in order to resolve the conflict, so we have seen different types of conflict arises. Now, in order to resolve the conflict, Thomas Kilmann model has given five components how to resolve the conflict. The first is avoiding, accommodating, compromising, competing, and collaborating. Avoiding means it's better to avoid the conflict. Don't go into deep. If you know that the conflict may take place and it will stretch for a longer period of time, then it's better to avoid that conflict. So someone who uses a strategy to avoid thinking that the conflict will going to resolve soon. So ignore that conflict or sidestep the conflict. Second is what? Accommodating. Accommodating means what? Here you are fulfilling the other people demand at the expense of your own needs. Like for example, suppose two people are there, they are working in team A and B. Alright, A is saying that we can complete this task like with using any other method. B is saying that no, this task will be completed by using my method. My method is more good, your method is not good. So both are having the conflict. Now at that time, A says that okay, let's do this, let's complete this task with the help of your method. So whatever you will say, let's do in that way. So that is what accommodating. So using the strategy to resolve conflict involving taking steps to you are taking A is taking steps to satisfy the B's concern at the expense of their own need and desire. So here A is not going with their method. A is following the method of B to complete the task. That is what accommodating. Okay, compromising means both will compromise. Both will say, okay, let's do 50% with your method, 50% with your method. So this is what? This is strategy compromising. They find a acceptable solution that will see it will only help partly, not entirely. So it will satisfy partly. So both are giving their 50%, 57. None of them will give their 100%. That is what the compromise. Competing means you are trying to satisfy your own desire at the expense of the other parties involved. So here you are competing, you are fighting that no, I'm right, you are wrong. So we will complete this task with my method only. That is what competing. So here assertiveness is very high. Assertiveness is high and cooperation is low. And collaborating means it means finding a solution that satisfies both the person entirely 100%. But this does not take place in all of the conflict. In some of the conflict only it takes place. Like for example, suppose there is a conflict between the member of the people. Okay, they have decided to go like okay, Jaipur, Manali, and Darjeeling. Okay, now one wants to go Mumbai, but there is no option of going to the Mumbai. So it means the other person need will not be fulfilled at any cost. So 100% fulfillment will not be there. Only collaborating is done for only one person. So only three options are there. So this is what finding a solution that entirely satisfies the concerns of all party involved. So it happens, but not in all the cases, only in some cases. You cannot go two places at the same time. You can either go for Jaipur or Mumbai, Manali or Mumbai, Darjeeling or Mumbai. So this is what it will not work. In this phase, the collaborating will not work. This is very important. See, so competing is what you are competing, you are fighting means your assertiveness will be high, your cooperation will be low. So only one can win, and it's better that I should win. Collaborating means what? That high assertiveness is there and high cooperation is there. So here, what you are doing, see, in collaborating, what you are doing, you are fulfilling the 100% needs of both the person. So both will be what? Both will be high assertiveness, high cooperation. Compromising means both are compromising 50-50%. So they are finding the midway solution. The medium assertiveness will be there, medium cooperation will be there. So can we just meet in the middle of this? Avoiding means ignoring the conflict. So ignoring, how you can ignore? You will say that, okay, let's talk this some other time. Right now, I'm having no time to talk on this matter. So assertiveness is very low, and at the same time, cooperation is. And accommodating means what? You are finally you are ready to follow the other person, what the other person is saying. So okay, let's just do it your way. So here you are cooperating more, and the assertiveness is less. Okay, so assertiveness means taking action to satisfy one's own need, and cooperativeness means taking action to satisfy the other person's need. So different phases of conflict are also there. Total five phases of conflict are there. And how to learn this PTIDR? This should be learned in sequence only. So five phases are there: prelude, triggering, initiation, differentiation, resolution. See, the actual conflict does not start from the prelude phase. It will start from the initiation phase. Initiation means what? Start of anything. So conflict will start from the third phase, not from the first. In prelude phase, what happens? This is the stage that includes, see, sudden conflict will not start. If the conflict has to be started, something has to be previously, like if your thoughts are not matching, if your opinions are not matching. So there are different factors that can lead to the conflict. The conflict will not going to start on its own. There are differences in opinion, interest, background, religion that could lead to a conflict. So this is what this just defines the differences in the people. Now, triggering phase means what actually triggered the other people so that the other people have started the conflict. So conflict does not start on its own. There is always a specific reason for that. Like for example, Ram and Sham, they never got along due to their different family backgrounds. So during when the Sham was giving the presentation, suddenly Ram stood up and Ram criticized the Sham that Sham has not added the relevant point in his presentation. His presentation was not good. He does not have good presentable skills. So this is what the Ram has said about the Sham presentation, and that actually triggered the conflict. Now, after that, the conflict has started. So that is why the conflict has started from the initiation phase. So this is when the conflict actually begins. Arguments are there, insults are there, and disagreements are there. In differentiation phase, now both the party will try to show their differences, why they are different from each other, why they are not having good relations with each other. And resolution phase is the last phase where people will try to resolve the conflict. They will always try to find the positive outcomes in order to resolve this conflict with understanding and compromise. Now, so what are the skills to manage conflict? So different skills are there, like effective communication skills should be there, listening skills should be there. So one should listen properly, what actually happened, discussion, patience should be there. Conflict will not going to resolve very soon. It will take a lot of time, so you must have patience for that. Impartial means no biases should be there. One should listen both the parties. Never go personally. Okay, try to talk on the matter on which the conflict started. Don't go personally. Address the conflict, not the person. Always have positive attitude that you came to resolve the conflict. Find shared interest. Shared interest means talk to other people of the company, what their views are, okay, what they are saying on this conflict, and then determine the partner. That is, if nothing happens from all this, then go for the partner. Partner is what? Best alternative to a negotiated agreement. So it is what? It is just a backup plan for resolving the conflict. So this is what it is, the concept from negotiation that helps people to understand what their best option is. If they are unable to reach a conclusion, then partner will help them to achieve it. So partner is what? It is a backup plan. It is the best. It is the next best alternative. Hmm. It is the next best alternative. Like imagine you are negotiating the price of a car. Your partner might be that you have another car in a mind. So you are negotiating the price of a car, and in your mind you have another car set. So you will try to negotiate. If the other people is not ready to sell the car at the rate in which you are asking, then you know your partner, you can go for another option. So if the seller is not offering a fair price, you know that your partner is a reasonable backup plan. You can work from that and you can choose your next best alternative option. All right. So why it is important? So that one can make informed decisions. Okay, they can avoid the bad deals, and they know if they have a good alternative, then they will go for that. All right. So these are all the things related to the conflict and the phases of conflict. Very, very important. All right. Next, unit number 16, that is HRM and IT. See, this is the last unit of module B, and then we'll start with module C. Okay, so what is IT in HRM? IT, see, we know that HRM in HRM, if all the things the manually it is done, it will take a lot of time, like recruitment, hiring, selection, training, then induction program, then performance appraisal, compensation. So all these things, it will take a lot of time when it is done manually. So for that, the IT has integrated in HRM information technology. It will help, it will make many of the things automate so that the HRM activity can be done fast. So use of digital tools and systems to automate, simplify, and enhance what HR functions. Like for recruitment, payroll, employee record, training, development, performance appraisal. So how IT has contributed, online applications are there, the resume screenings are there, AI-based shortlisting will be done, and finally the interview will be conducted. Then payroll management, how to manage the salary slips, so automated salary slip will be there. Employee records, so centralized digital databases there where all the information of the employees are located at that place, all the data are included, and whichever information you want to retrieve, you can retrieve that information of employee from that particular database. Then training and development, so e-learning portals are there, learning management system, webinars through which the trainings are provided to the employees. So off the job training, on the job training. Then performance appraisal like 360. Yesterday we read about 360-degree, 720-degree, key performance indicators. So these are what? These are the part of the IT. These are how IT has contributed in HR. Then employee self-service. If employee wants to uh, like employee want to update their portals or they want to apply for the leave, so they can also have their self service over there, analytics, grievance handling, so customers grievances, any kind of issue customer is having, so chatbot supports are there, complaint tracking is there where they can put their queries in the chatbot. So these are how the IT has helped in HR. So what is the purpose of HR databases? So these are used by the HR professionals who have a lot of skilled, a lot of knowledge, experience to handle all the IT terminologies to store and manage employee related information like recruitment, training, leave attendance, performance, and workforce management. Now, what type of data are stored? So all the details of the employees are stored at a place. Then attendance will be there. So how much absent the employees have done, how they have maintained their own records. Then the clock in, clock out times, holidays, expenses. So these all the data are stored in the databases so that if manager want to do the appraisal, so they will check all the details of the employees and then the appraisal is finally decided. So there are two terms. One is HRIS and one is HRMS. Now, information system and management system. So we have seen that the scope of management is bit of a broader scope. Yes, and information system is included in management system. So we can say HRIS is what? It is a part of HRMS, like HRD is a part of HRM. So human resource information system is what? All the information of the employees of the candidates are recorded at one place so that one can make quick decisions if they want. So HR is like a computer based system where all the information are stored, and whichever information company needs to find, company needs to retrieve, they can access those information like where to post them, what training the employees need, how much salary to give, who should be promoted, how the appraisal is done, who should be transferred, who should be made ready for the future leaders, what role suits them. So these all information is only possible when the employee are having information at one place at stored in the databases so that accurate information can be retrieved properly. So HR information system, it includes different core models. The first is the personnel manager. So from the name itself, it is clear personnel means those who manages, those who store all the data of the employees, details of the employee. like contact information, job roles, employment history. Training manager is the manager who provides training if needed to the employees or training to the freshers. They can make plan easier how to provide training, what should be the time period, what should be the for how much period the training is to be provided. And recruitment manager is the one who recruits the candidate, who shortlists the candidate, who select the candidate, and finally they provide what training and development with the help of training manager. Next is employer self-services. So self-service means if they want to take any kind of service related to their own. So like they want to update their personal details, they want to apply for leave, they want to access their pay slips. So it is provided in employer self-service. So these are the core modules: the personal manager, training manager, recruitment, and employer self-service. Now, management system is what? It is again a broader scope. Okay, so it is the combination of all the systems, all the process that connect the human resource with the information technology, with the software, with the data, with the candidates, recruitment, payroll, manage. So it handles all the things, not only the information related to the candidate, but apart from that, the company information, the client information, the structure of the company, the pattern of the trends, everything is recorded in HRMS. So HRIS is what? It has the basic features including payroll, time and attendance, and HRMS has the advanced features. That is why it is known as the broader scope, and it is a narrow scope. And HCM, that is human capital management, is what? It is managing the human capital in the company, including the people who can fit for the future roles, for succession planning, and for future leaders as well. So it is good choice for small companies. It is suitable for growing companies, and it is used as the strategy to make the company more enhanced in order to put the people at high position at high roles. All right. So this is the biggest scope is what? HRMS. HRIS is included in HRMS. Now, next is what? That is electronic EHRM. So, EHRM is what? It includes all the things online. It follows the online method. It supports the HR activities, how the information technology is supporting the HR activities in the company. That is with the help of web-based technology. So, Stromer in the year 2007 has said that EHRM is what? It is planning, implementation, application of information technology for both networking, and it supports two or more individuals so that the HR activities can align with the goals of the company as well. So total we have three types of EHRM. See, operational is what? Operational relates to day-to-day activities. So doing the day-to-day activities, daily transactions, administrative functions, so it is for that. So it relates with the managerial elements. It is more about administrative functions like maintaining payroll, employee personal data, following all the five functions of management. Relational EHRM is what? Relation means making good rapport between the people in the organization who is working. So relational is also known as the social. So how managers, how employees, how superiors, supervisors, subordinates, they are having good relation with each other, and not only in the company but virtually how they are having good relations. It is also known as social EHRM. It is concerned while with the supporting business process like training, recruitment, selection, and how the data is being shared among the people who are present in the company. Not only in the company but also making a healthy and virtual relationships among. And transformational EHRM is what? When a different strategy is being formulated in the company. All right, so it must be communicated with each and everyone, such as the learning organization, the knowledge management. So it is all about the strategic HR exercises like knowledge management and learning organization. Okay, so for future growth. So that is transformational EHRM, how the transition takes place, how the change takes place, and in an ease manner. All right, so different e-learning platforms are there, like e-learning are there. So where The online training programs are there, webinars, digital courses. Like right now, what is you are watching this session, so this is also a part of e-learning. Then e-compensation means the salaries, the bonus, the benefits, the incentives are also provided through online. So digital management of all the salaries. E-recruitment. So recruitment is also done with the help of softwares using websites so where candidate can apply okay over there and the companies they can manage the application. And then if they are selected, if they are like if the preliminary interview is conducted, then after that the final interview is done, then finally they will be selected. So all these things will be done with the help of websites, with the help of software on the websites. E-performance management. Performance management means giving the feedback to the employee how they have worked throughout the year and the appraisals are being conducted. E-selection means that is how the individuals are selected when they are giving the interview, the tests, the interviews. Okay, video conferencing are there. So that is how they are selected. So everything is done through online, through digital tools and techniques. All right, so we have all these things like e-recruitment, online job applications via websites on platforms like Naukri.com, LinkedIn, how the employee will be selected through video interviews, through screening tests, e-learning, e-training is what that is the webinars, online certification like Coursera and Udemy. You are doing any course, after completing the course, you will get the certificate for that. So that is what the web-based training. Performance management means performance appraisal, like 360 degree, 720-degree. If you are applying for a leave through online, that is what getting ESS, e-payroll, e-onboarding. So these are all using the electronics platform for digitization, for getting all the benefits of all these things. Now, next is what that is the see, one topic is more before this applied research, HR research. So research means what? Research consists of two words. One is read plus search. Means anything that needs to be searched again that is known as research. So HR research is what if the HR, the employees of the company, they are exploring anything new already that has been done and if they are finding anything new in the company that is known as the HR research. So either they are finding for their employees or they will find for their company from the competitors. They will hire any third party to look the problems of the company if they are unable to solve. So that is what the HR research is. Now, in HR research, the applied research is applied means if you are using the research in your personal application. So, when there is practical application of the things in your company, that is known as applied research. So, falling under different applied research. So, statistical approach is what the researcher generates statistical standards. Statistical approach means what the tools and techniques you are using, the statistical tools and statistical techniques you are using. Okay, 720 degree. Okay, first let me complete this and I'll explain you 720 degree. All right. Okay, the statistical approach is what like for example, a company wants to understand the relationship between uh between employee job satisfaction and their work productivity. All right. So this is a company wants to know a company wants to understand the relationship between the job satisfaction and their work productivity. So what the company will do, so for this the company will collect the data. All right, the company will collect the data through surveys, through observation, asking other employees about their satisfaction level, and then they will give the rating like 1 to 10 scale. They will give the rating. So this method uses what numbers and data from past record. Existing records means from past records to evaluate the activities and program. So even small mistakes or issues can be found easily using this method. Okay, comparative approach means comparative again the comparison is done. So in comparative approach, the organization will compare its own organization with another organization, and then the organization will figure out is there anything that where we are lacking, do we have competitive advantage or not, is our product having a unique features or not, and then the further improvements are done. Outside authority approach, suppose after doing the comparison, the company found that the company is not able to find that where we are lacking. Okay, we have done everything, we are making good products also, our prices are also good. Okay, we have used the skimming method or penetration method, so everything is good, but still we are not going ahead of the competitor. So where we are lacking, we could not understand that. So for that, the company has hired any outsider who has a lot of years of experience. They have already worked in different companies. So that is what the outside authority approach. So here the research team counts on the expertise of the consultant or published research records as the standards of activities or problem to find the cause of the problem and take corrective action. And compliance approach means that is the same, following the guidelines, rules, and regulations of the company. So whether the company has followed the proper rules and regulations or not. All right. 360. See, one is 360 degree. Now 360 degree is what? Suppose you are a person, your appraisal has to be done. Now, instead of asking from your senior management that how this employee is in the company, so I'm asking not only from your senior management but also from your customer, from your peer members, okay, from your groups, from suppliers, from marketers, from clients. So this is what, this is 360 degree. So every one of them will give their own viewpoint about you, that okay, you are good in this, you are good in that, you are bad in this, you are bad in that. Suppose the customer has said that you are good in everything, but you are not listening to the customers well. You're not fulfilling their desires, or you're not listening their issues, whatever the issues the customer are having. So this is the negative feedback that you have got from the customer. Now, once you have got this negative feedback, now you are working on this feedback. After working on this feedback, if again the appraisal is conducted after 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, just to know whether the feedback you have received, have you worked on it or not. So if second time the 360 degree is happening, so it will happen like this only. That is known as 720 degree feedback. Alright, so if second time the 360 degree is happening, it is known as 720 degree. Now it's clear. Alright, so knowledge management. I hope this is clear to you. All. So what is knowledge management? Knowledge management means how to manage a knowledge. How to manage a knowledge means, it means the collecting, organizing, sharing, and using knowledge. So how the knowledge is collected in the organization, how it is shared among people. So every one of them have different knowledge. They are coming from different background. They have different values. So how they are using that particular knowledge, using that particular idea, how they are sharing with among the people in the organization, so that the decisions can be the smarter decisions can be there, and the repeating mistakes can be avoided, and company can achieve their objectives well. That is known as the knowledge management. So managing the knowledge in the company by sharing it, by organizing, and by using new knowledge. So five elements are there in knowledge management: people, process, technology, structure, and culture. So people means that those who create and use the knowledge. So they are sharing new ideas, they are doing brainstorming. One people is learning from another, another is learning from the third one, so that in this way the organization will also get help. Process means what rules and what methods you are following. Okay, how you are doing any particular task with any different methods. So sharing that method, storing the data, and using it efficiently. Technology means obsolete technology should not be there. New and updated technology should be used. And if one is lacking in technological skills, the training should be provided. The structure, what is the structure of the organization? Is organization is having a democratic structure? Is organization is having the autocratic structure? How the teamwork is there, how they are communicating with each other, and whether there is cross department knowledge sharing or not. Means one department is sharing knowledge with another department or not. And culture means the organization culture. So people with different backgrounds, how they are creating the positive culture in the organization. Are they free to share knowledge, help others, and with this they will help the organization to achieve their goals efficiently. Now, this is important technology in training. So we have virtual instructor led training. Virtual instructor led training means virtual means okay, the physical presence is not. Instructor led training means the training is provided through the instructor. So instructor will give you the training. So this is how the online delivery is there. So participants they will connect from different across the world, and they will connect using the VILT training. So instructor will instruct you, they will guide you, and you will connect from across different uh, states or different countries. So it includes the live session, pre-recorded sessions are there through VILT. Interaction with the instructor is possible in real time. So this is also what it's a type of virtual instructor-led training. So you are watching the session. If you have any doubt, you can ask the session. You also have the option to see the recording. You also have the option to uh, see the recording after 2 days, after 3 days, and in real time it is good. So that is how VILT takes place. E-learning is, see, you can also say this as e-learning because the classes are going on YouTube, so it is going with the help of LMS. It is going parallelly, it is on the paid classes also, so it is with the help of LMS. So formalized teaching is there, but with the help of electronic resources. Like what are the electronic resources? Like we have the software through which we take class. We have pen tab through which we write on the screen. Okay. We have the connectivity, the internet connectivity. So these are the different electronics resources through which the e-learning takes place. Okay, rest is the same. So it refers to training that is delivered online through any digital device. Technology-based training programs are there where you can learn anything, you can take any courses, and the delivery is possible with the help of online. Now, next is augmented reality and virtual reality. These are the two concepts. Now, augmented reality and virtual reality are what? See, in augmented reality, everything happens with the phone, with the visualization of object. Like AR provides easy visualization of object. Suppose you have seen, okay, if you have bought anything from Amazon, suppose you have bought a sofa set. Okay, you want a sofa for your house. Now, if you want a sofa, so when you are looking on the Amazon, there is one camera in the below side. It will help you to detect that if wherever you want to keep that sofa, okay, you will put your phone over there, you will put the camera over there, and it will show how the actual sofa will look at that place. So that is only possible with the help of augmented reality. So it will give you a real feel that yes, the sofa is at that place. So how you are experiencing, if you feel good, then you will buy that particular thing. So when you use a mobile camera and see virtual furniture placed in your real room, that is AR. Like Google Maps are there. They will show, give the arrows on the road through your camera, and accordingly you will move. So that is augmented reality. So it superimposes the digital content into real life environment using the camera. But virtual reality is what? Virtual reality, it feels like you are at that place only. So it is a technology where users, with the help of VR headset, it will make you feel that you are in that virtual environment. Actually, you are not in that environment, but virtually it will feel that you are in the environment. Like in the malls, you have seen the game zone, and in game zone, you have seen that the children or kids, okay, they wear the VR headset. So this is what this gives the this shows them the virtual reality. This gives the experience of virtual reality. So in training, VR is very useful. So this is provided just to give you a mock equipments will be given to you so that you may feel that you are working in a simulated environment, but in real, but in actual that is not the real environment. Especially when the real environment, how the real environment feels like that type of experience this virtual reality will give you. All right, so it will simulate all the dangerous situation without putting the training in the harm way. So this is all about the augmented and virtual reality. So it digital overlays on reality means it will show you how it actually looks like at that place. Different equipments are there like 360 equipment views, surgical projections, cargo loading simulations. It will give you the real time view. But in virtual reality, it will help you to simulate that particular thing. So that in real scenario, if you will go, you have actually worked in the simulated scenario. So that is how the virtual and augmented reality works. So it is superior for hazardous training, better than AR for simulating, Then it allows employees to practice dangerous and expensive tasks with the help of mock equipments so that they may feel that what type of real world consequences are. They may observe it earlier only with the help of simulated environment. All right, and with this we have completed module B. Okay, so those who are watching on YouTube, all right, so those who are watching on YouTube, if you have not yet enrolled in our capsule batch, so we have started 2 days. Okay, already it will be completed today, and rest of the 5 days we will be having our classes. So do enroll in this because from tomorrow onwards, the session will not be parallelly run on YouTube. So for that, you have to join the paid classes. All right, so 5+ hours of marathon sessions will be given, mock test will be there, and 360-degree study kit will be there. Now let's start capsule 2. All right, so let's start marathon session class 2. Now, next we have completed module B. Now, module C, in total, module C, 9 units are there. All right, so today we'll try to complete 4 units. And module C is all about overview of credit management. So this is related to the things which you are doing in your bank. Practically, you will have to study the theoretical part over here. All right, so the credit means what? The loan, the funds. So there are two types of credit. One is fund based, second is non-fund based. Fund based credit means when there is actual transfer of money from bank account to the borrower account. Like I went to the bank, okay, I want 10 lakh rupees. The bank has immediately given me 10 lakh rupees, immediately transferred 10 lakh rupees into my account. So that is known as the fund based. When there is immediate transfer of actual transfer of money from one account to borrower account. But in non-fund based, yes. All right. But in non-fund based, there is no actual transfer of money. The transfer of money will take place after months or after years. But there is what commitment by the bank. So bank will commit. See, suppose this is supplier and the supplier has given goods to the buyer. Buyer has purchased goods from the supplier and buyer has not done the payment immediately. The buyer is saying that I will give you the payment after 5 months. So in this case, how supplier will agree on this? So for that, the bank will act as a guarantee. Bank will give the commitment to the supplier that if my customer, suppose buyer is the customer of the bank, that if my customer will not pay you the money, I would be liable to pay the money. I will pay you the money. So this commitment is done. It is not, the funds are not transferred right now. The actual transfer is not happening immediately. It will happen in future after some time. So the commitment is given by the bank on behalf of their client. All right. So it may result that the future transfer may happen to the beneficiary of such commitment. That is non-fund based. Credit can also be classified based on purpose. For what purpose the loan is being offered, like for short-term loan. So working capital is provided for short-term. Okay, project finance, these are provided for long-term loan, export finance, crop loan, and these are classified on the basis of different credit portfolio. Like when the limits are set that such like XYZ sector will receive only this much limit of the loan. So that is what the portfolio. So bank portfolio is being made and bank, the loan policy of the bank, it will decide that which sector will be disbursed how much loan. So that is what the portfolio is. All right, so fund based, non-fund based means money given, yes, like loan, overdraft, cash credit. Non-fund based, money given, no, only promise is made, only commitment is there. So like bank guarantee, LC, letter of credit. Okay, who are the borrowers who can borrow the money from banks? So it can be any individual, sole proprietor, partnership, statutory corporations, companies, trust and cooperatives, and HUA. And these are all the laws that are applicable to different types of borrowers. Okay, so you can go through this by downloading the PDF. Okay, all right. This is easy. Just go through the slide. Next is what are the components of credit management? So there are different components of credit management. First, before giving, suppose I am the borrower. I went to the bank for the money, for the loan. So for that, bank will have their policy. Okay, their loan policy the bank is having. Bank will first analyze everything what is written in the policy. After that, the credit appraisal is done. So whether my company is healthy or not, will I repay the loan in future or not? That is what the credit appraisal is done. After doing the credit appraisal, then the credit sanctioning is there. Sanctioning means credit delivery. Okay, so finally the loans will be provided to me. Once the bank has given me the loan, so bank will not going to just sit like that. Bank will control and monitor all the activities. The bank will see that for what purpose I have taken the loan. Am I using the loan in the same purpose or not? Like I have taken the loan for infrastructure purpose, but I'm using this loan to buy a car. I'm using this loan to pay for the education purpose. So this is what the for what purpose I have taken the loan. I should use the loan in that purpose only. Otherwise, it will be considered as diversion and suffering of funds. Then in control and monitoring, so credit risk will be there. So different types of credit risk are there. If I have not repaid the loan, so bank will give me three different courses of action, that is rectification, restructuring, and recovery, so that I can repay the loan to the bank. And sometimes what happens, I have taken the loan, but the time period is extended. That in infrastructure project, we don't know how much actual time it will take to complete a project. It might take, I have taken loan for about 10 years, but it may exceed to 12 years. So who will give me the extra funds? So that is refinance means again if I'm asking for the funds, so that is known as refinance. Alright, so these are all the components of credit management. Now, there are certain categories that are under priority sector lending. Priority sector means those sectors that are considered to be very important. These sectors should be provided loan according to the limits set by the RBI. So, agriculture, MSME, export credit, education, housing, social infrastructure, renewable, and others. So, these are all the categories. Okay, so what are the targets for priority sector lending? The major targets are what? So categories are made. Four categories are there. First is all the domestic commercial bank, excluding the RRBs and small finance bank. Why these two banks are excluded? Because we have different column for these two. And all the foreign banks, if their branches are 20 or more than of that. So if the branches of the foreign banks are 20 and above that, so they will be included in domestic commercial banks only. So what is the total priority sector target limit? That is 40% of ANBC or COB, whichever is higher. Then for foreign banks, if their branches are less than 20, they're also 40% of ANBC, RRB 75%, and small finance banks. So remember, before it was 75%, but from 25 from 20 April 2025, it has been changed to 60%. So now you have to remember what 60%. Alright, so 60% of ANBC or CEOBSE, whichever is high. So ANBC, that is adjusted net bank credit, and CEOBSE. So these are what? These are the simple banking terms that are used. Uh, they are used in Indian banks to figure out how much money banks must lend to priority sector areas like farming, small business. So ANBC is what it is total lending amount, and when the bank is lending the amount, so they are doing some adjustments by adding certain investments like the non-SLR bonds. Okay, then some investment, some of the ratios are also included in it. So these are what? These are the after doing some adjustment, then only the bank will lend money. Now, agriculture is what 18% of ANBC. See, we always have to take the higher of the amount from ANBC and COBSE. Agriculture, it is 18%. And see, although till now no calculation has been asked in ANBC and CEOBSE, but if you want to look, so I have already calculated. I've already calculated in the foundation or master batch in both the batches. The calculation we have done there, so you can check it there. All right, 18% of ANBC, COB, whichever is higher. In both the three, non-applicability is there. Now, agriculture and RRBs, again 18% is there, and 18% in small finance bank. So this agriculture, the 18% is safe. So 14% is for NCF, non-corporate farmers, and 10% is for small and marginal farmers. Micro enterprise, it is 7.5 in domestic commercial bank, RRB 7.5, and this also 7.5. Only advanced to weaker section is different in 12%, 15, and 12%. So this is important. Next, so the main sectors in priority sectors are agriculture also. So for crop loans, medium term loans, pre and post harvesting activities, what is the upper cap that is decided? That is 2 crore. Now pre harvesting and post harvesting is what pre harvesting means. It means everything the farmers they do before crops are these are cut or these are collected, like it includes preparing the land, okay, sowing seeds, then watering them, adding the fertilizers. So this is all about before cutting the crops. And post harvesting means, this means everything the farmers do after the crops are cut or these are collected. So it includes the cleaning, storing, then packaging, transporting, and finally it is selling those crops. Then advances against warehouse receipt. So see, non-negotiable warehouse receipt and electronically negotiable warehouse receipt, it is up to 90 lakhs if it is less than or equal to 12 months. And for non-negotiable warehouse receipt, it is 60 lakh if it is less than or equal to 12 months. Now, negotiable and non-negotiable is what that is. See, negotiable warehouse receipt is what it is the document that is issued by a licensed warehouse to a farmer. If farmer has to store their agricultural goods. All right, so that is what they provide the receipt. So the receipt will give the proof of ownership. It proves the persons who owns the goods stored in that particular warehouse. So it is transferable, means negotiable. Like if you are showing that particular document, okay, whosoever is holding that particular negotiable warehouse receipt, they can claim the goods. So with that, the farmer can also get the loans. Also, bank can treat negotiable warehouse receipt as security and collateral. And issued, and if it is issued electronically, it is known as electronically negotiable warehouse receipt. Then loans to cooperative societies farmers, so it is up to 10 crore. Food and agro processing, so it is now it has been qualified up to 100 crore per borrower. All right, housing finance is what? The loans given to individuals for housing finance. So what amount will be considered under PSL? How much is the limit? So if the centers with population of 50 lakh and above, if it is 50 lakh and above, and in that case, the loan limit should not be more than 50 lakhs, and maximum cost of dwelling unit should be up to 63 lakh. Maximum cost of dwelling unit means the cost of making the house. Making the house. So centers with population of 50 lakh and above, and the loan limit, it is up to 50 lakh. The maximum cost of dwelling should not exceed 63 lakh. Then only the loan will be considered under PSL. Centers of 10 lakh and above, below 50 lakh, 10 lakh, above 10 lakh, and below 50 lakh. So loan limit is should be up to 45 lakhs. All the values are in lakh, and maximum cost of dwelling should not exceed 57 lakh. Then only it will be considered as PSL. Centers with population below 10 lakh, so it is loan limit is 35 lakh for below 10 lakh, and maximum cost is 44 lakh. So housing to loans to bank own employee will not be eligible. So housing loans given to banks own employees, it will not be counted as PSL, under PSL. Now, for the repairment purpose, see, this is for the housing finance, this is for repairing the house. Repairing the house or damaged dwelling units, it shall be eligible for PSL. Again, what is the criteria for this? Center with population of 50 lakh and above, maximum loan limit should be 15 lakh. Maximum cost of dwelling should not exceed, see, this is the same. So cost of making the house would be same. That will not change even if you want to repair the house also. But loan limit will change because only for repairment you are asking the loan, so it will not increase like this amount. So it will be below that only. So loan limit is up to 15, here up to 12, and here up to 10. Then only it will be considered under PSL. So these loans will be qualified PSL. And remember, both the conditions have to be fulfilled. Both the loan amount and property cost limits are to be met, then only it will be counted under PSL. If it has increased to 65, then it will not be counted as PSL. Now, for education purpose, so for educational purpose, the loans not exceeding 25 lakh will be considered as PSL. So before again 2025 to from 2025 April 2025 it has been changed to 25 lakh. Before it was 20 lakh. So 20 lakh was considered as PSL, but now it has been increased to 25 lakh. So you have to remember this amount. Startups, for startups only, if loans, the startups they want loan up to rupees 50 crore, so that loan will be considered under PSL category. Social infrastructure. So banks loans up to 8 crore. This is the limit per borrower. So one borrower is taking up to 8 crore, then bank loan. So that limit will be included under PSL. For what? For setting up schools, drinking water facilities and sanitation facilities, all these things. And when under this program, that is Ayushman Bharat, in Tier 2 to Tier 4 centers, so loans, the limit of the loan would be 12 crores per borrower. So if the borrower is including under this program Ayushman Bharat in Tier 2 to Tier 4 centers, then how much loan limit would be for that? That is 12 crore. If it is loan limit is up to 12 crore, then it will be included under PSL. Similarly, bank credit to microfinancial institutions, to self-help groups or joint liability groups, they will be included under PSL. Now, renewable energy, this is important. And December 2025, the question was from renewable energy in this time. So up to rupees 35 crore per borrower. See, if any company they want to if any institutions or companies they want to generate renewable energy, okay, for farms, wind turbines, biomass plant, then one borrower can avail up to 35 crore. This will be included in PSL. They will be eligible for priority sector lending. That is priority sector classification. And if any borrower wants to install solar panels in their house, biogas plant, or other renewable solution, so for that, for individual household, 10 lakh is the limit. Up to 10 lakh per borrower, it will be eligible for priority sector classification. Now, in other categories, if any loans are provided to self-help groups, joint liability groups other than agriculture or MSME, so loan should not exceed 2 lakh. If it is under within 2 lakh, then it will be considered as priority sector lending. Okay, so for what purpose? For meeting social needs, construction or repair of house. Then loan given to distressed person. Distressed person means suppose the borrower has taken loan from any Mahajan or from indigenous borrower. All right. And now this borrower has not repaid the loan. So in that case, distressed person loans will be given to distressed person. How much is the amount? It is up to 1 lakh per borrower. So it should not exceed 1 lakh per borrower so that they can repay their debt to non-institutional lenders. Non-institutional means like if we have nine villages, Mahajans, Sahukars, all this. So to non-institutional lenders, how much loan will be provided under PSL? Loan to distressed person, 1 lakh per borrower, not more than that. Now, urban cooperative banks, the priority sector target is 60. So remember, previously it was 75. It has been reduced to 60. Now, next we have credit exposure norms. So credit exposure norms means these are the guidelines that basically set the limits on the amount of credit, how much is to be lended to particular sector or particular institution. So credit exposure norms, these are guidelines that set limits on the amount of credit a bank or financial institution can extend to a single borrower or a group of connected borrowers. See why this is done so that one single company should not get much of the loans. Suppose bank portfolio is 150 crore. Now 150 crore is a bank portfolio and different sectors are there. Suppose bank has given to this sector B 50 crore. All right, sector A, let's take an example, 2 crore. C, 8 crore, D 12 crore, E 15 crore. Now this single sector B bank has provided money, a lot of money to this sector B. So even if this sector makes any kind of default, the bank would have to suffer huge loss, and this will increase the concentration risk. So to avoid the over concentration or concentration risk, that is why the credit exposure norms are made. The guidelines are made how much to be lent to particular sector. So large exposure is defined as the sum of all exposure values of the bank to a counterparty or group of connected counterparty. So if it is above or equal to 10% of the bank's star one capital, then it will be considered as large exposure. So bank star one capital means core capital. If the exposure amount is 10% or more than above of the bank's star one capital, then that will be considered as large exposure. So two categories are made. If loans are given for individuals or group of counterparties for NBFC and non-NBFC. So for non-NBFC, what is the ceiling limit? Ceiling limit is what? Ceiling limit means maximum limit. And there is one more word that is known as floor. Floor means minimum limit. So what is the maximum limit that is set? 20% of Tier 1 capital is set for single borrower and 25% of Tier 1 capital is set for group of borrowers. This is for non-NBFC. But same is for NBFC also. All the NBFCs, they are also restricted to 20% of Tier 1 capital in case of single single NBFC, and a group of NBFCs, they are restricted to 25% of Tier 1 capital. So 20% for single, one borrower, single institute, single counterparty, and 25% for group of counterparties or borrowers. Okay, one example is there like for individual or group counterparties, non-NBFC. So if bank gives money to one company or person, the limit is for 20%. And for a group of company, the limit is 25%. Suppose a Tier 1 capital is 1000 crore. To one company, how much bank can lend? That is 20%. So what is the 20% of 1000? That is 200 crore. The maximum exposure that bank can lend to one company is 200 crore. Now, maximum exposure that bank can lend to a group of companies, that is what 25 crore. So 25 crore is what 250 crore. Now, next is what that is the classification of micro, small, and medium enterprises. So you have to remember the revised one, not current one. Okay, how would we know, or how would anyone know that particular enterprise comes under micro or small or medium? So if any enterprise is there, how would you know that that enterprise is coming under micro enterprise, that enterprise comes under small enterprise, or that enterprise comes under medium enterprise? So for that, certain criteria are being set, parameters are being set. The investment criteria and turnover criteria. Remember, both has to be fulfilled. If only one is fulfilled, another one is not fulfilled, still that will not be counted as micro, small, or medium. So for micro enterprise, the investment should be 2.5 crore. And if the turnover is up to 10 crore, all these values are up to. If it is up to 10 crore, then that enterprise will be considered as micro. If any enterprise is having investment up to 25 crore and turnover up to 100 crore, that enterprise would be considered as small. Similarly, for medium, if any enterprise is having the investment 125 crore and turnover 500 crore, so that would be counted as medium enterprise. All right. If you know one investment also, then you can find the turnover also. How? Micro, we have 2.5 crore multiplied by 4, that is 10. Small, 25 multiplied by 4, you will get 100. Medium enterprise, 125 multiplied by 4, you will get turnover. Or if you remember, if it is easy for you to remember this value, then simply divide it by 4. You will get the investment. So any one of you can remember and you can find the another one. But remember, both should be followed in this case. All right. Next, certain guidelines, okay, for lending to MSME sector. So if the banks, they are providing loans to micro, small, and medium sector, so common guidelines are there. The bank must follow. What are the mandatorily guidelines? So first is collateral security. So banks, these are not allowed to accept any kind of security if they are giving loans up to rupees 10 lakh. All right. to micro small enterprise. So if banks they are giving loans up to rupees 10 lakh, so they are not allowed to accept any kind of collateral security. And if the enterprise those enterprise comes under the Prime Minister Employment Generation Program, then banks are also advised to extend their collateral free loans up to rupees 10 lakh to all the units. So if the enterprise is coming under this also, then the banks are advised to extend the loans up to 10 lakh. Now, composite loan means the total loan. So if the MSME enterprise they want a loan for their day-to-day activities, for their working capital fulfillment, then in that case, how much composite loan limit is? That is 1 crore can be sanctioned by banks to MSME entrepreneurs so that they can avail the working capital requirement through single window. That is 1 crore. And class, what is the class? So the full form is important credit linked capital subsidy scheme. So this is basically these types of funds are given in this scheme, the type of fund that is given for the technology upgradation. So if any micro small enterprise wants to upgrade their technology, so for upgrading their technology, how much bank will provide? So bank will provide the upfront capital subsidy of 15% or maximum of 15 lakh. Like if 15% comes 20 lakh, how much bank will provide? Bank will give 15 lakh. If 15% comes 10 lakh, how much bank will provide as subsidy? 10 lakh. So 15% or maximum up to 15 lakh, not more than that. So whichever is less between 15% or 15 lakh, that is given by the bank to MSME in order to upgrade their technology. All right, so one example is that suppose MSME owner wants to buy a new machine and the new machine is cost rupees 50 lakh. Okay. Under the class scheme, how much subsidy the company can avail? So it is 50 lakh into 15%. What is the 15% of 50 lakh? 7.5 lakh. Maximum amount is the ceiling limit is how much? 15 lakh. Now the company can avail the 7.5 lakh subsidy. So lower of the both the amount 15 lakh or 15%, whichever amount is lower, that will be availed by the company. Okay, so business how much the business has to pay? 7.5 lakh bank will give, rest 42.5 lakh the company has to pay. Now let's take another example where the cost is very high. Suppose machine costs rupees 2 crore. Now what is the 15% of 2 crore? That is 30 lakh. And what is the limit set? The limit is set what? 15 lakh. So now in this case, the company can avail only 15 lakh, not 30 lakh. Rest of the 185 lakh the company has to give. Okay, next is what that is the specified borrower. So specified borrower means already see the borrower is there and the word specific is added over here. So certain borrowers will be considered as specified if they have taken loan from all the banks all together. And what is the threshold limit for those borrowers? That is more than 10,000 crore. So specified borrower is a person that takes a big loan from bank and falls under the special rule. So threshold limit for specified borrower is based on the total funds credit limit. What is that limit? So for the financial year 17-18, it was if any borrower has taken loan more than 25 crore from all the banks all together, then that borrower will be considered as specified borrower. That was 17-18. Now the bank has reduced the threshold limit to 15 crore. So this was for 2018-19. Again, the RBI has reduced the limit to 10 crore. So if any borrower has taken availed funds loan from all the banks all together more than 10,000, then that will be considered as specified borrower. So from 1st April 2019 onwards, this has been changed to 10,000 crore. So if borrower takes total loan from all the banks together more than 10,000, then that borrower will be considered as specified borrower. Now, next topic that is important, loan system for delivery of bank credit. All right, so what is the loan system? See, different individuals, they take different types of loan. Some institutions, some companies, they will take long-term loans. Some companies, they will take short-term loans. Now, if the companies, they are taking short-term loans, that is known as working capital finance. If companies, they are taking long-term loans, that is known as the term loans, term loan finance. So to improve the credit discipline for large borrowers, RBI requires that companies with a working capital limit of 150 crore or more must have at least 60% of their sanction limit. So normally the limit that is provided to the company is what? 150 or more. 150 crore or more. So if any companies, if their working capital limit is 150 crore or more, so in that case, the bank will assume that they have taken what, the 60% as the loan component. See, some companies, they take very large working capital limits. So short-term finance they need for daily operations from bank. So RBI wants them to use most of the limit as the proper loan, not as cash credit. So instead of just cash credit, which is what it is flexible for the banks also. So at least 60% must be in the form of a loan and the rest can be used as cash credit. So loan component should be either it is 60% or more than that. It should not be less than 60%. So RBI says that the companies whose working capital limit is 150 crore and more, so for them, the loan limit would be 60% more than that. So out of the total working capital sanction, at least 60% must be given as a loan. And the rest 40% will be um, it will be considered as cash credit component. So the remaining can be allowed as cash credit facility. Okay, but two things are excluded in this. That is the export credit and the commercial paper. So export credit in the pre-shipment and post-shipment finance. So the bill discounting are not included in this calculation. And the commercial paper, see, when the company they issues the commercial paper and when bank invests in the company, so it will also be counted as a loan component. So these are what? These are the certain things that are the not included. So export credit is not included and commercial papers, if they are issuing, the bank are investing, so it will be counted as loan. So only one thing is excluded, that is export credit, post and pre-shipment inland bills limit are not included in this transaction. All right. So loan component should be minimum 60%. Rest of the 40% will be used as cash credit. What is excluded? The export credit is not included. Transactions are not included in this calculation. And if the company are issuing commercial papers and bank are investing on that company by purchasing the commercial papers, so in that case, it is assumed that the company has taken loan from the bank. So it will be counted as a loan. All right, so example is I have given, okay, two examples are there, case one, case two. In normal working capital limit is what? A company gets a working capital limit of 200 crores. Now, 200 crore is the limit. What RBI says that the 60% should be used as the loan component, minimum 60%. Company can go for 70%, 80%, okay, but not less than 60%. If RBI decides 70%, then the company has to go for 70% as well, but not less than 60%. So loan component should be used as 60%. Loan component means what? It will be assumed that the company has taken 60% of the loan from bank. So what is the 60% of 200 crore? That is 120. And rest will be assumed as cash credit 80 crore. So company must take 120 crore as loan if the working capital limit is 150 crore or more. And remaining 80 crore will be used as cash credit. Or now next is this commercial paper. Same commercial paper. Suppose the company has issued commercial paper of rupees 50 crore and bank has invested in that company. Now the 50 crore will be counted as the loan component. That company has taken 50 crore of the loan from the bank. So out of the 200, what was the loan component? 120 crore. 50 crore, it is covered by CP. So now the company can avail only for 80 crore of the loan. Okay, it is 70. 70 crore as a loan and rest 80% will be used as cash credit. So this is what the loan system for delivery of bank credit. All right. Next is marginal cost of fund-based lending rate. So marginal cost of fund-based lending rate. See, this is basically decided how much the lending rate is to be provided. Marginal cost means what? Marginal means what? That is the extra You can say the extra money that is charged. So it comprises of the four main parts. First is marginal cost of fund. Second is negative carry on CRR. Third is operating cost and tenure premium. So MCLR is what? This is the minimum interest rate that bank charge on their loan, and it includes four things. Marginal cost of fund means marginal means the extra cost, how much extra cost the bank pays to borrow money, like the extra cost that the bank pays to borrow money from depositors. So it includes marginal cost of borrowing, new deposits, new loans are there, and the return on net worth, that is the minimum profit that the bank expect when the bank is investing on bank is doing any investment. So what it cost the bank now to get money from depositors and investors, that is marginal cost of fund. Now negative carry on XDRR. Why? See, CRR is what? Cash reserve ratio. All right, cash reserve ratio is what? This is the ratio that RBI says that all the banks they have to maintain this ratio in the form of cash reserves, and these reserves are to be put with the RBI. But RBI does not pay any kind of interest on these CRR. That's why it is considered as what? Negative C carry on CRR, because no interest is given by the RBI on CRR. Suppose bank has 100 rupees. Now let's take it 4% CRR. All right. Now, how much bank has to keep with RBI? Rupees 4 bank has to keep with RBI, and rest of the 96 rupees bank is having to do their operations to do their business. Now this 4 rupees the bank has kept with RBI. RBI is not giving any kind of interest on it. So that is why this is the negativity for the bank. So negative carry on CRR. So which arises due to return on CRR balances being nil. So the returns on CRR is what? It is nil. It is zero. No interest bank is earning on this CRR. So that is why it is known as negative carry. Okay. So what is the formula? The formula is important. Required CRR, how much the bank have to maintain CRR into marginal cost divided by 1 minus CRR. This is the formula. Operating cost is what? Operating cost means the regular cost for operating the business. So it is how the loans are provided, okay, how much funds company is raising, how company are arranging loans from the bank. So all the costs are included in operating cost. And tenor premium is what? See, sometimes the company they take loan for a long period of time. Their tenor, their time period is very long. So that is why RBI charges extra interest on those time period. And that extra interest is known as what? Premium. So the change in tenor premium should not be borrower specific or loan class specific. So this is a commitment that bank takes from the borrower, that if the borrower is taking for a huge long time period of the loan, then in that case the tenor premium is charged. All right, so bank they have to publish the internal benchmark. See, these are the different MCLR marginal cost of lending rate. Okay, so overnight period is there, 1 month MCLR, 3 month MCLR, 6 month, and 1 year. So one was the question. It was given that 8 months MCLR in the mock. So 8 month MCR is not in this category. Overnight is there, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, and 1 year. This is the maturity period. Now, next one more term comes in MCLR only, that is EBLR. EBLR is what? That is external benchmark lending rate. External benchmark means the lending rate, the lending rates are dependent upon externally. So something outside the bank's control like RBI policy rate, this helps in making interest rate changes more transparent and fair. So the lending rates are linked to an external benchmark. And what can be used as benchmark? That is RBI repo rate can be used. So RBI bank can choose any one of these lending rates. 3 month government T-bill yield published by financial benchmark. 6 month government T-bill or any other market interest rate that is published by FPIL. So these will be used as EBL. All right. Now next topic is what? That is all right. monetary and credit policy. So what is monetary and credit policy? See, methods of credit assessment. How bank will do the credit assessment? So normally it is considered that if companies they want working capital loan, and if their limit is up to 5 crore based on the higher of the following two methods. So bank will disburse the working capital loans to those companies whose limit is up to 5 crore, and bank will only provide by calculating with the help of two methods. So whichever amount is higher, that amount is provided, but up to 5 crore to micro small enterprises. All right. Suppose let's take one scenario. Bank is giving working capital loan. One MS micro small enterprise is there, and that micro small enterprise needs the funds up to 5 crore. Okay, funds for working capital requirement 5 crore. So bank will use two methods for that. One is the PAT method and one is operating cycle method. PAT method is also known as NAC committee method. So this is calculated with the help of projected annual turnover. What is the turnover of the company? Okay, 20% of the projected turnover plus operating cycle method. So if the companies they are having long operating cycle, working capital cycle is very long. How much time it will take from buying raw material to collecting next cash to when you are selling the goods you will receive the cash, and from that cash only you will purchase the raw material. This is how the one rotation is completed in working cycle. So ultimately when the company is receiving cash by selling the goods, from that operating cycle method and from PAT, whichever amount is higher, the higher of the amount will be provided as working capital limit to the enterprise. Which enterprise? Micro and small enterprise, and to those enterprise whose limit is up to 5 crore. If the limit is 10 crore, so this will not work in that case. If the limit is up to 5 crore, then only it will be work higher of the two methods. So RBI has mandated that banks they have to grant how much working capital limits to micro and small enterprise if the individual cases is up to 5 crore. So it will be computed with a projected annual turnover method and operating cycle method. In both of the method, whichever is higher, that amount will be given as working capital to micro small enterprises. And the projected annual turnover method is also known as NAIC committee method. It was set up by RBI in 1991. It gave recommendations to improve the credit flow. So minimum 20% of the projected annual PAT method and the operating cycle method, whichever is higher, that amount is given to the micro small enterprise. All right. Now, one more thing is there. See, RBI says that the normally company, micro small enterprise companies, they need 25% of the amount as working capital limit. Okay, 25% they need. But bank will only provide 20% of the limit. Rest 5% the enterprise have to bring their own. This we will study in another part of the chapter later on where this 25% criteria will be there. So that is why I have repeated over here. I have told you over here and I will repeat there also. All right, this is clear to you. So bank methods of credit assessment is what bank will give working capital loans to MSE micro small enterprise, and when the enterprise working capital limit is up to 5 crore, so higher value is given. See, suppose the higher value comes, let's take an example. After calculating these two, the higher amount comes 6 crore. So will bank will give 6 crore? No, only 5 crore will be given. So up to 5 crore bank will provide, not more than that. So NAIC committee method, that is calculated 20% of PAT, projected annual turnover, also known as PAT method, and this is calculated with the help of sales. So working capital limit, how it is calculated? 20% into project annual turnover, that is PAT. And operating cycle method, how it is calculated? So how much time it will take to convert your raw materials into finished goods, into sales, into cash. The more working capital cycle, the more money you have to generate, the more working capital you need. The less working capital cycle, the less money. So higher of the two amounts, but up to 5 crore. Okay, like NAIC committee method, okay, it comes 2 crore. Operating cycle method, it comes 1.6 crore. So how much is given? The higher of the two, that is 2 crore will be given to the MSE. Next is what that is SMA account, special mention account. So what is special mention account? See, we know that bank will wait for a period of 90 days, overdue for a period of 90 days or more. After that, bank will consider all their assets as NPA. So basically, RBI, what it says that why you are waiting for the 90 days. If you know, if you have not received the payment on the due date, then start making your SMA account, that is special mention account. Special mention account so that you can recover your losses. So three accounts are created in this SMA 0, SMA 1, SMA 2. 0, 1, 2. Now, if the principal and the interest amount is overdue for a period of 1 to 30 days, it will be included in 0. Next, not it is not 30, okay, not 30 to 60. Remember, it is 31 to 60. So in SMA 1, principal or interest due for a period of 31 to 60 days, SMA 1, and in 2, 61 to 90 days. This is for normal account, but for cash credit, only two accounts are there, SMA 1 and SMA. So asset is classified on the basis of different ways, how much the borrower has repaid or the borrower has not repaid when the NPA rises. So standard asset means everything is healthy, loan is being repaid on time, no problems are there. Okay, in NPA, the first account is substandard when the payment is overdue for a period of 90 days but less than 12 months. Doubtful when the payment is overdue for a period of 12 months and more. And loss asset when the bank auditors or directors of the bank, when they consider that now we will not going to receive any, we will not going to recover any of the assets, any of the money, then they will be considered as loss asset. The bank or auditor says the loan is total loss, no chance of recovery, then the loss asset. There is no time period for that. When they feel okay, when they feel that now we will not going to recover, then only it will be considered under loss asset. All right, this is very important. A lot of questions we have done from this chart also, and in exam also it will come. So if okay, no, one is normal provisioning, one is accelerated provisioning. Normal provisioning means you are keeping the money aside to cover your losses. That is normal provisioning. But you are keeping your money aside, the more amount of money you are keeping aside to cover your losses, that is accelerated provisioning. If you want to cover your losses as soon as possible, that is more amount you are keeping aside. So for when the secured and unsecured means the securities for secured loans are there or unsecured loans are there. So if the asset is classified as substandard, okay, due period up to a 6 month, 6 month to 1 year, then normal provisioning is 15%, and accelerated provisioning is this is for up to 6 months, it is 15%, and 6 month to 1 year if it is 25%. If the substandard assets are there and these are unsecured, no security, the bank has taken no security when lending these loans. If it is up to a period of 6 months, so 25% provisioning is done. Other than infrastructure loans, this is also 25. For infrastructure loan, 20% provisioning is done. If the time period is above 6 months, 25% for other than infrastructure, and for infrastructure 20%. But for in accelerated provisioning for both of the loans, 40% is there. Then doubtful in second year, 25%, 100% for unsecured, and this is 40 and 100%. Then doubtful second means third and fourth year, 40% for unsecured, 100, and 100 for both secured and unsecured loan. And doubtful 3, fifth year onwards. So in both the categories, it will be 100%. So this you need to remember by heart all the values in normal provisioning and accelerated provisioning. Now let's start with unit number 18. So unit number 18 is all about the financial statements. So financial statements, why it is needed? See, when the bank are providing loans to the borrowers, so bank need to check the financial statements, the profit and loss account, the balance sheet, the income and expenditure, the cash flow, the fund flow, the seasonal business account, so that bank may get an idea that is it healthy to disburse the loan to this particular sector, to this particular company or no. That is why the financial statements are being checked in this. So different sources of finance are there. One is on the basis of time, on the basis of ownership. On the basis of time, short-term finance are there, that is for working capital needs, and long-term finance are there, that is for term loans. And on the basis of ownership, owners fund means when the owner is bringing capital in his or her company, that is owners fund, the capital. And borrowed fund means the amount that is borrowing by individuals from banks in the form of debt. So certain accounting standards are there, and one has to follow these accounting standards when maintaining accounts in the company. So these are what accounting standards are, what these are the policies, these are the documents issued by government, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, and in consultation with NFRA, that is National Financial Reporting Authority. So it tells about when to recognize the account is healthy or not, the recognition, the measurement, how to measure all the values in monetary terms and non-monetary terms, how the accounts will be presented, and how the final disclosure will be done. So all these are the important components of financial statement: recognition, then measurement, then presentation, and finally disclosure of the accounts. All right. Next is what is the purpose of analysis of financial statements by bankers? So why the bankers they analyze the financial statements? So first is assessment of performance and financial position. Assessment of performance and financial position means they need to check the performance. They need to bankers check how well the business has performed and how strongly it is financially worth for the company. Then projection of future performance. So using all the financial data, all the historical data, bankers they will try to predict how the business will going to perform in the future. Whether it will grow in future, whether it will earn profits in the future, or how the loans will be received. Then detecting the danger signals. So they look for warnings like how the profits are fault, how the losses are increased, how the debts are being raised, or if there is any kind of irregular payment or not, which may indicate the financial loss of the company. Then assessment of credit requirements. So bank will analyze the statements to decide how much loan the business needs and whether the business can repay in future or not based on their working capital and funds requirement. Examine fund flow. Fund flow means how from where the money is coming into the company and to where the money is going. So how the sources and application of funds are being used. And cross checking means that is the verification. So bankers they will verify the numbers in different um, registers in reports whether it is matching or not. Like for example, comparing sales in the profit and loss account with the same when the company has received in the balance sheet or not. So that is what these are all the purpose. That is why the financial statements of the companies are checked so that the credit can be disbursed properly to the company. Now the financial statement ecosystem is what? So we have P&L account, profit and loss account, cash flow statement, and balance sheet. So profit and loss statement will tell all about the income and expenditure of the company. So this is easy. Like it indicates the profit of the company as well as the loss of the company. So we have gross and net sale. We have cost of goods sold, gross profit, operating expenses, the day-to-day expenses. These are known as operating expenses. Total sales before any kind of returns or discounts are the gross sales. Then gross sales minus any kind of sales return is the net sales. Cost of goods sold means how much cost it will take to make any kind of good or to buy the goods, okay, which you are selling to the customers. Gross profit, net sales minus cost of goods sold. Operating expenses means the expenses that the business is using for running their day-to-day tasks, doing their day-to-day work, like purchasing raw materials, giving salary to employees, rent. So all these are what? These are operating expenses. Now, operating profit is what? That is gross profit minus all the operating expenses done in the company. That is operating profit. And non-operating surplus or deficit is what? That is the profit and loss the company gets after doing all these activities. But these activities are not the main part of the company. So non-operating means when company has generated any kind of profit or loss, but not from their core operation, that is non-profit or net or not non-operating expenses. Okay, then we have profit before interest and tax. So what is the profit that the company gets before paying interest and tax to the government? Interest means suppose you have taken the debt, so you need to pay the interest. So before interest, what is the profit? Before tax, what is the profit? Then from profit before interest and tax, if you will deduct. So see, from this, you are remembering the income statement comes. Yes, from this portion, the income statement is there. So we have the earnings before interest and tax. So earnings are what? These are the profit. Now simply we add interest. So we get what? EBT, earnings before tax or profit before tax. Then we will deduct the taxes. So we will get what? Earnings after tax, profit after tax. Then we will divide it by the number of shareholders. So we will get the value of one share of a company. So this is profit after tax or net profit. And this is EBIT is what? Operating profit. Now, balance sheet. So, balance sheet simply, okay, assets are equal to all the liabilities and equity. So, assets means what the company owns, and liability means what the company has to pay. Okay, the what are the obligations of the company. So, it evaluates how well a company is doing financially and if it can recover debts with all the assets or not. So we have some of the instruction how to prepare the balance sheet. So in balance sheet, two sides are there. What is the criteria for current classification? What is the criteria for trade receivable and trade payables? How we can say that whether this particular kind of asset comes under current asset, it is a fixed asset, it is a tangible or intangible assets. So criteria for current classification is what? When the 12-month realization rule is there. When any of the assets or liabilities, if it is less than 12 months, then it will be considered as current. That is for a short period of time. So realized within 12 months, then it will be considered assets or liabilities. When it is more than 12 months, it will be considered as long-term liabilities or assets. Like when any liabilities have been set off, okay, in the normal operating cycle, that is in working capital cycle. So that is also a part of short-term liabilities. And unconditional right to defer. So when any liabilities, okay, they can be settled within the period of 12 months, then they will be considered as the deferred liabilities. Simply, we have trade receivables and trade payables. So trade receivables are also known as bills receivable, and trade payable are also known as bills payable. So trade receivable means like uh, bills receivable means the money the company is yet to receive from customers, okay, for goods sold on or services provided as part of their normal business. Like for example, if company sells any kind of goods on credit, the amount to be received by the company becomes what? Bills receivable or trade receivable. Similarly, we have bills payable and trade payable. So trade payable means the money the company has to pay to their suppliers. So company has purchased goods from the suppliers, and company says that I will pay after 3 months, I will pay after 4 months. So this is what? This is the amount that the company has to pay to the suppliers. So that is known as the trade payable or bills payable. So if a company buys raw material on credit or anything on credit and the company is paying after a few months, that is what? Trade payable. So the amount paid is known as the trade payable. All right, got it? Okay. Now, next is what? That is the cash flow and fund flow statement. So, cash flow statement means it talks about all the cash inflows and outflows from where the cash is coming, how much the cash is going outside, and it helps to test this with the help of three different types of activities. That is operating activities, investment, and financing activities. Again, operating means the activities that are required in your day-to-day business. So, conducting all the business outcomes, okay, the ups and downs in the business in the regular interval of business, that is operating. Investment means if you have invested on any long project, if you have done the investment in, if you have done any kind of capital investment, if you have purchased any machinery, if you have sold any machinery, so that is what? That is the investment purpose. And financing means that is all about the shares, debentures, stocks. So these are the transactions related to capital and debt market. So cash flows, it talks about the inflow and outflow of cash. Now, this is all about the fund flow statement. Fund flow statement means from where the money is coming inside the company and to where the money is going. So money coming inside means if you have taken loan, money is coming inside the company. If you have sold all your assets, So when you have sold the assets, the money is coming inside. Issuing new shares, when the company issues new shares, so the one who purchases the shares, they give the money in the company. That is company money is coming inside. Operating profits. So these are all the things from where the money is coming inside the company and to where the money is going. If you're purchasing assets, money is going out. Repaying loan, paying dividend, increasing your working capital. So all these things, it indicates the application of funds. Application of funds. And it indicates what sources of funds. All right, so these are the cash flow and fund flow statement. All right, so fund flow statement, again, financial report that shows where a company money comes from and where it is used over a specific period of time. So sources of fund, this is all the same we have used. And uses of fund, this is also known as the application of funds in different items. Now, next we have next part that is all known as ratio analysis. Now, why ratio analysis is used? It is used, we company use ratio, company do ratio analysis just to know whether the company is healthy or not, to know, to find the, to find whether the company is healthy or not. Company is healthy. Now, how it is analyzed whether the company is healthy or not? It means company is in a position to repay their short-term and long-term obligations or not. And for this, we do the analysis of different ratios. So liquidity ratio, solvency. Liquidity ratio, it tells about how much the company is having the funds so that they can pay their short-term obligation. And solvency ratio, it defines that how whether the company is capable to repay their long-term obligation or not. So it is for short term, it is for long term. Ability to meet obligations using the current ratio, quick ratio, asset test ratio, and ability to fulfill long-term requirements against the assets and equity. Long-term means more than a year. So we have current ratio, we have quick ratio. Here we have debt equity ratio, debt to assets, interest coverage ratio. Now, what is current ratio? What is quick ratio? Current ratio is what? Current ratio tells about all the current assets and current liabilities. So, if your current liabilities is more, current assets are more than current liabilities, then the ratio is good for the company. So, how easily the company is repaying their short-term obligation? Okay, that is the obligation less than 12 months. How much company has repaid and how much still it is left to repay. What is the ideal current ratio? That is 2 is to 1. Means your current assets should always be double than your current liabilities. If it is double, it means even if you are paying your current liabilities, still you have half of the amount left to run your business, to buy your current assets. Alright, so assets should always be double the liabilities. And quick ratio is what in why it is termed as quick ratio? See, liquidity ratio means the assets can be converted into cash quickly. But in quick ratio, if you need emergency cash, if you need urgent cash, can you convert all your current assets? No. You stocks, these are the things that it will take time for conversion. It will not going to convert easily. You can convert other things. You can convert PR. Okay, you can convert your you can say all the remaining of the current assets, but you cannot convert your stock quickly. So it will take time to for in conversion into the cash. That is why current assets, the inventory are not included. These are excluded. So current assets minus inventory becomes what? Quick assets divided by current liabilities. And what is the ideal? That is 1 is to 1. Why 2 is to 1 not? Because already we have deducted the stock. So that is why the 1 is to 1 is ideal. Okay, so stricter test excluding inventory, which may not be easily converted into cash. Inventory will not easily convert into cash. That is why it is not added in quick ratio. Okay, so asset quick ratio is also called asset test ratio. So these are quick assets by current liabilities. Ideal is 1 is to 1. It means it is the good sign. If it is less than that, it shows the bad sign. Means the company has enough liquid that they can cover their short-term obligation. Now, cash ratio is cash and cash equivalent, all the things related to cash divided by current liabilities. Only cash are included in this. So again, the ideal is what? 1:1. Means company is in the position to repay their all short-term obligations. Now, the first was liquidity ratio. Second is what? That is the profitability ratio. So, profitability ratio, it is used to check the profits of the company. So, how profit is checked when you have made the goods, when you have sold your goods, when you have received the cash, when your turnover is high, then only you can assess the profit of the company. All right. So, first is raw material consumption to cost of production ratio. Now, raw material consumption means how much the company is consuming their raw material, means how much raw material are used for making the final consumption of the goods upon how much production the cost is there. Like you have purchased the raw material, okay, and the production cost is comparatively very high. It means you have sold the goods at less price and the production is very high, so it is not good sign for the company. So good sign for the company is when the raw material is being purchased and cost of production is less than the company. That is what the uh, raw material consumption to cost of production. So formula is value of raw material consumed upon cost of production into 100. Now, PBT ratio is what? Profit before tax. So, what is the profit that company has earned before giving taxes to the government? So, what is the formula for this? So, PBT upon, so we are talking about PBT in the sales revenue. So, PBT divided by sales into 100. Net sales into 100. Sales minus sales return into 100. Then we have EBITDA. So EBITDA is earning before interest, uh, depreciation, tax, and amortization upon net sales into 100. So it is a financial performance indicator that measures the operating performance. So because for running your day-to-day business, you have taken the debt, so you need to repay your debt also. You need to pay taxes also. Your assets, their value will also decrease. So either if tangible assets are there, you have to do depreciation. If intangible assets are there, you have to do amortization. So that is why everything will be included in EBITDA for net sales into 100. So how much company has made the sales out of this operating profit, including all these things? How much actual sales the company has made? Return on capital employed means how much money you have in the investments that you have done on that investments, how much return you have received. So it is EBITDA upon total assets into 100. Next is the operating profit ratios. Operating profit ratio is calculated by operating profit upon net sales into 100. So operating profit is what? That is, it tells how much actual profit a business will make from its core operation compared to its total sales. Like suppose a business, business will make profit from different sources, but that all the sources are not included. Operating profit is only included from their core business. Suppose you are doing the freelancing work also. Now that freelancing, how much money you are earning from that freelancing, that is not included in your operating profit. The core business that you are doing, how much money you have earned from that core business, that is only included in your operating profit. So it tells how much the actual profit a business is earning from their core operation. So operating profits upon net sales into 100. Now vanquish ratio, so long-term debt upon EBITDA. This time December 2020, not December 2000, uh, June 2025. Alright, the question was from vanquish ratio. I guess no. In this time also, in December 2025 only, the question was from vanquish ratio. That is long-term debt upon EBITDA. And interest coverage ratio, this was the question. It came in ABFM paper. The ICR ratio, how to calculate the ICR ratio. Now, interest coverage ratio means how much company has the ability to cover all their interest from the debt the company has taken. Suppose you have taken the debt of 10 lakh rupees and interest is, let's take it, interest is 1 lakh rupees. So, okay, you can pay the principal amount, but your company is having the obligation that they can pay the interest also. So it is calculated upon EBITDA upon all the interest on the total debt. That is what interest coverage ratio. Then we have leverage ratio, leverage solvency ratio. It talks about the long-term ratio, whether the company is in a position to repay their long-term debts. Till now, we were studying the short-term debts. Now, the long-term obligation. So, in long-term obligation, we will see about the owner's fund to borrowed funds, how much owner has brought into the company and how much owner has borrowed from outside. So it is calculated as total outside liability upon tangible net worth. Now, tangible net worth is calculated net worth minus all the intangible assets because we are including the tangible things only. So why intangible assets are included? So these will be deducted from the net worth of the company. Then we have debt equity ratio. Debt equity means how much debt the company has taken upon how much value of the equity the company is having right now. Suppose company has taken the debt of 10 lakh rupees and the value of equity is what? That is 5 lakh. It means more debt the company has taken and company is having less equity. That is debt upon equity. Next is debt service coverage ratio. So DSCR, what it says that DSCR says that whether company can pay all their debt obligation or not, how much debt the company has taken, whether company can repay it or not. Company is in a position to cover all their debt service or not. So in debt service, remember the interest is also included. Because if you are repaying the debt, would you only repay the principal amount? No, you have to repay the interest also. So operating profit means EBITDA upon interest plus principal. Okay, one more formula is there. All the capital expenditure that you have done, because this you have done, it will give you the benefit for long period of time. So capital expenditure is reduced from your operating profit upon interest plus principal. Now, next we have holding ratios or turnover ratios. Now, holding ratios or turnover ratios, it will tell you all about the how much time period company takes to cover its first working capital cycle. So whether it is in the form of selling goods or in the form of converting raw material to finished goods or in the form of raw material, holding raw material in the company until the final goods are ready. Okay, so we have to assess the length of the operating cycle and amount of working capital gap. Now, working capital gap is total current assets minus outside current liabilities. So first is raw material holding ratio, that is raw material average stock upon raw material consumed in the period into 365. See, if it is given in the days, then you will multiply it by 365. If it is given in the years, you will multiply it by, in months, you will multiply it by 12 months. Okay, so what does the first says that the raw material holding ratio means? It measures how long raw materials are stored before they are used in final production. Okay, it tells how many days it is raw material is lying in the in your company before they are used to make product. It happens like you have brought the raw material in your company, but you have not started the production yet. You will start after 1 month. You are seeing that the price of raw material will increase in next month, and you have to start the production next month only. So it's better you buy the raw material now. So how much period of time that raw material is still the company is holding in its warehouse and the final production has not yet started. So higher ratio means that more raw material are kept in stock. That is raw material holding ratio. And what is the formula for this? Raw material average stock upon raw material consumed in that period into 365. Then SIP, stock in progress average ratio. Stock in progress average ratio is what? How much? It tells how many days the product it will remain unfinished in the factory while it is in that progress. Means it measures how long goods remain under the production process, how much time it will take to complete to complete it to the raw material into the finished product. So work in progress is what? When raw material is converting into finished products, so it will take the work in progress time. So how much time it is actually taking. So higher ratio is there. It means the production is taking more time to convert raw material into finished goods. Then we have finished goods holding ratio. So it measures how long finished goods are remain in your company. The goods are made, you have made the finished goods, but now you are not in a position to sell those goods. Might be due to liquidity crunch, or might be the people are not, might be the sale is very less. That is why you have not sold your goods yet outside the company. So how many days the finished goods stay in the warehouse before they are ready to sell? That is finished goods holding ratio. And the formula for this is what? That is all the finished goods average stock upon cost of sales of the period. And receivable holding ratio is how much time the 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 sundry debtors, they have hold your money. How long customers have hold your money? How long they are taking time to pay to the business. So how many days customers pay their dues in how many days? Like you have sold the goods now, and customer is saying that I will pay after 2 months. So you have to wait for that 2 months. So that is what receivable holding ratio. How many days customer will take time to repay your money to the company. That is receivable holding ratio. Now, all these are the you can a simple one line trick is there. The RM ratio, raw material waiting to be used, SIP, goods waiting to be completed, FG, finished goods waiting to be sold in the market, and receivable money waiting to be collected from final customers. Okay, so receivable holding ratio is what it is. It tells how many days it takes customer to pay us after we sell them goods on credit. If the ratio is 40, it means customer will take 40 days to pay you the money. Similarly, payable holding ratio, how much time the company is taking to pay their suppliers. The company has bought goods from the suppliers and company is not paying, company is delaying and delaying. So how much time the company takes, okay, how much time period the company gets from the suppliers, the credit period, and how much time the company takes to repay the supplier money. And inventory turnover, that is stock turnover ratio, means net sales upon average stock. Average stock, how to calculate? Opening plus closing divided by 2. Okay, so payable holding creditor turnover ratio. So a company, how long company takes to pay their creditors. Now, these are all the ratios given to you. Okay, so just go through it. Current ratio, quick ratio, all the formulas are there. And I will also share the formula sheet on the community. Okay, so tomorrow I will share it. Tomorrow I will share the formula sheet and all the contributors and their theory name. These two things I will share it in the community and I will share where in the crash community tab. Okay, so go that and check in that only. Alright, so rest of all these formulas are there. Download the PDF and just go through the formula. Now, which one is important? Let me tell you. Current ratio, it is important. Quick ratio is important. Raw material, PBT, EBITDA. All right. This one. Debt equity ratio, operating profit ratio. Debt service ratio, inventory turnover ratio, vanquish ratio, interest coverage ratio. Go through this entire, this is important. All right. Okay, so we have completed our unit number 18 so far. Now, next unit is all about the working capital. All right. Okay, so let's complete this chapter, the working capital unit number 19. Then we will left with 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So this we will complete tomorrow. 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 units. Okay, so working capital, just now we have studied all about working capital, that this is provided for a short period of time for the regular course of business, for the day-to-day operation, the working capital is provided. It represents the difference between current assets minus current liabilities. So working capital is what? Working capital is current assets minus current liabilities. Now, we have positive working capital, we have negative working capital. Positive working capital means when your current assets are more than current liabilities, it means it shows a good financial health of a company. Company can meet their short-term obligation. And negative working capital is when the current assets are less than current liabilities, means current liabilities obligations are more and the okay, you are owing more than you own more. So you are owning less, the current assets are less and the obligation is more. That is what the negative working capital. Now, this is what all about working capital cycle. That is what we were studying last chapter. So working capital cycle is how much time it will take to complete one working capital cycle. So how the cycle is completed? Suppose you have cash Now you have cash, then you will buy the raw material. That raw material work in progress. It will convert all the raw material to the finished goods, and for that the work in progress is required. Now when the finished goods are ready, now it is ready to for the final sale. When you will sell, you will receive your BR, and finally you will receive your cash. And from that cash again you will purchase the raw material. So this is the final one cycle is completed. So how long it will take to complete one cycle? If it is completed within a year, then the working capital cycle, working capital loans are sufficient. Suppose this cycle takes more than a year. Sometimes it happens that the working capital cycle is more than a year. Then in that case, which type of loan you will take from the bank? Working capital term loan. Working capital term loan, that is WCTL. This is the loan that you will take from the bank. All right, so this is the thing that I told you, I was telling you before, projected turnover method of assessment. This we have already done. So projected turnover method of assessment, what it says that normally under this method, NAC committee method, working capital assessment, it is assumed that enterprise needs what? Enterprise needs 25% of its annual turnover. All right, 25% of the annual turnover the enterprise needs for working capital. But how much bank will provide? Bank will only provide 20%. 20% bank will provide. Rest of the 5% the enterprise has to bring. And for loans and this is only for loans and advances, RBI guidelines that banks are advised to grant working capital computed on the basis of PAT and operating cycle method. And a minimum of 20% is estimated. Rest of the 5% the enterprise will bring up to rupees 5 crore. So RBI says that if the working capital cycle is more than 3 months, then in that case, the 20% will be given by the bank out of the two methods, whichever is higher, up to 5 crore, and rest of the 5% the bank will bring. That is projected annual turnover method of assessment. Now, this is important calculation of bank finance. So, see, if the company they need working capital requirement, so bank will provide the working capital needs to the company on the basis of three methods. So, what type of methods bank will use? Either bank will go for the first method of lending, bank will go for the second method of lending, or bank will go for the third method of lending. Now, what is first method of lending? First method of lending, it says that under this, the enterprise was required to bring in at least 25% of the working capital gap. Okay, working capital gap is what? Working capital gap, it tells it tells that at the end how much company uh, how much company needs the funds for its activity. Wait, let me write it. It tells that at the end how much working capital, okay, I'm writing WC, is required in the organization. That is what the working capital gap. So first method of lending says the enterprise was required to bring in at least 25% of the working capital gap. Now working capital gap is what? Total current assets minus current liabilities plus bank finance, excluding bank finance. So total current liabilities minus total current assets minus current liabilities minus bank finance. If it is in the bracket, then these are both are excluded in it. Okay, let's take it working capital gap as 1 lakh rupees. Okay, working capital gap 1 lakh rupees. Now, in this, what it says, enterprise has to bring how much? See, some of the amount bank will lend and some of the amount the enterprise will bring. So first method of lending says the enterprise was required to bring at least 25% of the working capital gap. So how much is the working capital gap? 1 lakh. Now what is the 25%? 25% working capital gap minus 25. Okay, yes, 25% of the working capital gap. So 1 lakh into 25%. Now what is 25%? 25,000. So 25,000 the bank has to provide, and rest of the money the enterprise will bring. So it means the 25,000 bank will give and 75,000 the enterprise will bring. That is what the first method of lending. Now, second method of lending, enterprise was required to bring at least 25% of the total current asset. Okay, we have taken working capital gap 1 lakh. Let's take the current asset as uh, okay, let's take it current assets 50,000. What says second method of enterprise was required to bring how much? 25% of the total current assets. Now, 25% of the total current assets are 50,000 into 25%. So, 25 into 5, 12500. Alright, now, so working capital gap minus 25% of current assets. The working capital gap is 1 lakh minus 12500. So what would be the amount? 1 lakh minus 12500. So it is 87,500. Third method of lending, what it says, the enterprise was required to bring 100% of those current assets which are considered core assets. Okay. And at least 25% of the remaining current assets. Enterprise was required to bring how much? 100% of those current assets which are current asset we have taken 50,000. Let's take it from current assets, so all the important core assets as 30,000. All right. So enterprise was required to bring 100% of those current assets which are considered core assets, means 100% the entire amount this the enterprise will bring 30,000 plus 25% of the remaining current assets. How much is left? 20,000 is left. Now 25% of 20,000, so that would be 20,000 into 25%, so it is 5,000. So plus 5,000 means 35,000. So 1 lakh minus 35,000. Okay, so this is how the bank finance will be calculated. Okay, so first method of lending, second method of lending, and third method of lending. So this is very, very important. And rest of the amount, who will give? The rest of the amount bank will provide. Now, next is what, that is cash budget method of assessment. So cash budget method of assessment, what it says, see, this, remember, this type of method of assessment is only for seasonal business. And in that particular season, which month the cost is high, that will be included as the limit working capital limit for the companies. That is what the cash budget method of assessment is. So cash budget method is what it is for seasonal business. Cash budget, it is how much inflow and outflow is happening for initial month, and if there is more deficit in any of the month, so the highest deficit in a certain month will become the limit of the working capital. Like, for example, let's take a quick example. Okay, suppose the company wants to make the winter clothes. Okay, so if you want to make the garments for the winter, if you want to do the selling of these clothes, then it must start from the month of November. Yes, November, December, January, February, March, not March, February till February. So from the actual sale, it has to start in November. So you have to make the goods before that. So you April, May, June, July, August, September, October. And from November, you have to start your sale. Suppose in April and May, you have collected the raw material, you have purchased the raw material. Then raw material is converted into finished goods in the month of June, July. Okay, then the packaging and everything required August, September, and finally the product is ready in the month of October. So purchasing raw material, it costs, let's take an example, 15,000. For converting the raw material into finished goods, okay, it takes 18,000. And the actual packaging, labeling, and any other activities further, it requires how much? It requires 25,000. Then these 2 months, the highest deficit is your, yes, 25,000. Now this will become what? This will become the limit of the working capital. So RBI says that whatever your highest limit is, highest deficit is in any of the month in your cash budget method of assessment. So that will become the limit of working capital. So this is what 25,000 would become the limit. So however small it may be, it involves outflow and inflow of the cash. The nature, amount, and periodicity of outflow and inflow is peculiar to the type of activity, and that is why it is used in the seasonal business. That is cash budget method of assessment. All right. Now next, that is trade receivable electronic discount system. It is electronic discounting system. Okay, let's understand this. All right. Suppose enterprise is there, MSME. Now, enterprise, or we can say seller. Now this seller has sold its goods to any company, ABC Limited. Now this company has certain protocols. The company says that, okay, first I will use your product because you are a new enterprise, you are a new supplier, I will use your product, then I will give you the payment. So I will after 6 months, I will give your payment. Now the payment was 10 lakh rupees. The bill was of 10 lakh rupees. This company, the supplier has sold goods to the ABC Limited. ABC Limited becomes the buyer, and ABC Limited has said that I will check your goods, everything. If it is all set, then I will repay, then I will pay you the money after 6 months. This is the protocol of the company. Now, next step is what? Suppose if MSME need emergency funds, okay, before 6 months only. Now, where this MSME will go? If this MSME will go to the bank, then certain disclosures this MSME has to maintain, certain different documentation, all the activities, all the regulatory regulations this company has to follow. It will take a lot of time. So for such kind of problem, the RBI has made one online system that is known as trade receivable electronic discounting system. So it is where all the unpaid invoices of MSME are cleared over here. This is the electronic system, and discounting. Why discounting? The entire amount MSME will not get. MSME will get only few amount, not the entire amount. Like if the amount is of 10 lakhs, so MSME will receive 9.5 lakh, 9.8 lakh. So who will do the highest bidding, that amount will be provided to MSME. Now, who see MSME has uploaded or its unpaid invoices. Now there are certain, okay, purchasers. So financials, they will purchase the unpaid invoices of MSME. Any NBFC could be there, any sole proprietor could be there, any individual firm, any banking firm. So anyone could be there who can purchase these unpaid invoices. Now, suppose they are doing the bidding. Some is saying that I will buy at 9.8 lakh, 9.5 lakh, 9 lakh, 8 lakh. NBFC has done the highest bidding, 9.8 lakh. Now NBFC will purchase this invoice, and NBFC will provide money to the supplier, that is 9.8 lakh. But there is one catch in this. What is the catch? This transaction is without recourse. Yes, this transaction is without recourse. Means on the repayment date, NBFC will reach to the buyer. Okay, NBFC will show the invoice to the buyer, and if buyer denies the payment, buyer denies the entire amount what is written in that invoice, that is 10 lakh, then in that case NBFC cannot go to the NBFC for the money. So this is known as the without recourse. So now MSME would not be liable to repay the money back to NBFC. That is what the trade transaction is. Now just go through the slide. All the things are written same. MSME are what sellers, corporate and other buyers are, including the government department, PSUs. Or it NBFC factors are there, institutions are there. They are permitted by the RBI that they can be the participant of this trades transaction. They are the direct participants in the trades. This is an electronic platform where all the participants they come together. The unpaid invoices are uploaded and they accept the invoices in the discounting manner so that the settlement can be done and the MSME can receive their money before time. And these are without recourse to MSME. Very important. So trades, these are for small and medium sized firm. Now trades platform MSME suppliers are there. They supply goods to the buyers. Who are the buyers? Corporate government departments. Who are the financials who paid for the unpaid invoices? The banks, NBFC factors are there. So these are all the participants in the NBFC. All right. Now, next is that is non-fund based working capital limits. Now, fund based, non-fund based, just now we have done, yes, fund based where there is actual transfer of money from bank account to the borrower account, and non-fund based where the actual transfer of money does not happen, it happens in future. Only commitment is given. So first is what the guarantee, that is bank guarantee. So bank will issue the guarantee on behalf of their customer. The same that if my customer will not pay you the money, so I will pay you the money. But in this guarantee, two further guarantees are given. One is performance guarantees, one is the financial guarantees. Now, what is performance guarantee? Performance guarantee is for the work, and financial guarantee is for the funds, for the money. Like this is issued by bank, it assures that the customer will perform the contract properly. Like for example, a contractor has promised to build a road, and for this the government has given the money. The bank gives a performance guarantee to the government that if contractor is not doing his work properly, not completing the work in proper time, then rest of the compensation the bank will pay to the government. So this is what the performance guarantee on the whether the performance is done or not, the guarantee is given by the bank. So if the customer fails to complete the work or meet condition, the bank pays the beneficiary. Similarly, financial guarantee is same that we have done so far. So bank gives the assurance, okay, on behalf of their customer to the supplier, to the seller, that if my customer fails to pay the dues, the bank will pay on their behalf. So company takes a loan or buy goods or credit, and if it fails, then the bank will be liable for that. So that is known as what? The financial or payment guarantee. Next is co-acceptance of bill. So co-acceptance of bill means co means two people. Acceptance means the one who has accepted the bill. So if in case the similarly the supplier, okay, supplier has sold goods to the buyer, and here the bank gives the guarantee. But not only the verbal guarantee is given by the bank gives the guarantee by signing the document. So if the worth of the document is 10,000 or more, if the amount is 10,000 or more, so bank will accept, and the of two official signatures are mandatory in that. One, the bank will also sign and the another the buyer will sign. So when a seller sells goods on credit, she or he draws a bill of exchange on the buyer. And if the bank also accepted that bill, bank has also done the signature on that. So bank will act as a guarantor. Bank has given the guarantee to the seller. So even the seller will also get the assurance that yes, if the buyer will not repay me on time, then the bank will repay me on time. But the amount should be, the value should be 10,000 or more. Then only the two official signature is mandatory. All right. Okay, so rest of the topics we will do tomorrow. Okay, from letter of credit, it is a bit lengthy topic. So from here, we will be covering tomorrow. All right, and I'll try to complete entire module C tomorrow. Tomorrow is third lecture. Okay, okay, let's see how much we can complete. Hmm. Okay, so PDFs will be uploaded after the session gets over. So I'll upload the entire PDF. And if you have any doubt, read all the PDF, read all the content. If you have any doubt, you can come join the live class and you can clear your doubts. Okay, so I'm ending this session on YouTube as well. Let me see how. Okay, chalo. So let's meet tomorrow. Timing will be same, that is 7 p.m. in the evening. And if you feel sessions are helpful to you, you can give me your ratings and your feedback. All right. So yesterday also some of you have given your ratings. So today also, if you feel the session was helpful, then you can give me your rating and feedback. Hardly it will take 2-3 seconds to give it. Chalo, let's meet tomorrow. Till then, take care everyone. Goodbye. Keep studying. Keep watching.